What up, what up, what up? We are back. Who am I? Jersey Street Corner, and this is the Prison Talk Show, people. I know. Y'all like, dang, he keep hitting us with these stories. He got mad stories. Yeah, you right, y'all. I got mad stories, because I done been through it, y'all. So, the amount of people that I've met in my life and the things that I've done, well, that's neither here nor there. But today, I do have another banger for you. Today, this story is going to be about, Old Man Gus. Old Man Gus was a butcher. He'd been cutting meat over 45 years. He know the anatomy of any animal you could think about, from dogs to a damn turtle. He done butchered everything in his career. Everyone come to his shop for meat, and he got good prices, so why wouldn't they? Now, what people don't know or never realized was that Gus didn't import his meat. He hunted it himself. Gus owned a farm. Nothing but acres of land. And he had his own pigs and horses and cows. All that. He got his own milk, egg, cheese, and butter. But every now and then, there'll be a beef shortage or a chicken shortage. Gus was all about that paper. He wasn't taking no losses. He had pigeon coops out back. And if there was a chicken shortage, Gus never ran out. He was soak pigeons in milk and ammonia to get that gamey taste out. Then he soaked it in some preservatives and he packed it up for sale, y'all. Gus would fillet a damn horse and make you think you was eating a beef ribeye steak. Nobody ever noticed, so he kept doing it. Even when he didn't have to. At this point, he was just having fun with it. In the next few months, there have been reports on the news about missing people in towns surrounding Gus's shop. People just vanished without a trace and nobody said nothing. When Gus saw these reports, and he was just like, nothing's being done about it, and nobody was ever found, he had a diabolical idea. He started hunting people at night. His easiest targets was people waiting for buses alone in the dark. Now, that's one thing I gotta say, people. I understand if you have to take public transportation, but at no point in time should a woman be out, or a man, honestly, be out waiting for a bus by themselves in the middle of the night at dark. You just a target. Anyway, back to it. So, he would drive right up to him and spray him in the face with some kind of sedative. Something that would knock him out. And he would drag him right on into the trunk and disappear. It took Gus a few tries, but after like 4 bodies, Gus, he had perfected butchering a human. He would make a man look like a huge T-bone steak. Girls, he had them out there cropped up looking like a rump roast. After he worked his magic, in some parts, well, you know how you got 80, 85, 90, and even 93% fat in the ground beef? Well, Gus, he was selling 100% lean ground human meat and sausage, all seasoned, home stuffed. Hold on just a minute. If you made it this far, You made it through the video this far. I need you to do me a solid. I need you to hit that like button, hit that hype button. Yeah, y'all. Most of all, I need y'all to do your boy a big, big favor. Hit that subscribe button so y'all can see every time I drop some new fire. Yeah, y'all. I know y'all don't think I'm just sitting here on the Dante Network because I like to hear myself speak. Nah. I'm on the Dante Network because I need y'all to realize that I'm in town and I need those subscribes. This gonna be the first hard press. Hit that button, y'all. Y'all already know what it is. My partner Dante said he got me, so he got me. Let's make it pop, y'all. I got some crazy stories for y'all coming up in the near future. You don't want to be left out. So make sure you come and holler at your boy. Back to the story. Now you gotta unpack what I just said. Gus is forcing the community to be cannibals and they don't even know it. They feeding this human meat to their babies, y'all. Yeah, this is what y'all having on Sunday dinner. Mashed potatoes and human meat. So Gus, he in it for the bag. He getting a bag, y'all. I mean, when I say Gus' business is booming, he butchering more humans than he can handle. And Gus just look at it like, hey man, everybody gotta go sometime. Gus really on some bullshit. So one day a detective will come knocking at Gus's door. There have been reports of people getting sick, saying they're having stomach aches, and there's enough people to warrant some kind of an investigation. At least look into it. So they come knock on Gus's door. To the shop, that is. And they say, this is the FDA. We just want to run a little inspection. We got to check out your meat counter. Make sure it's clean. We got to check out where you butcher at. And also, we need a copy of all the registration numbers for all the livestock you've been butchering for the last 5 years. There's been allegations that people been getting sick, and without those registration numbers, we can't link it back to the batch to make sure it's not safe. You know, it's safe for everybody in the world, not just here. So here I. Can you give me a few days to, that's a lot of paperwork. You give me a few days to produce that, and I get right with you with that. They're like, all right, but we're gonna go ahead and sweep the place. We're gonna go ahead and do our investigation on the shop. So you're like, all right, Now Gus ain't no dummy. Gus, he know how to clean up. You ever see Dexter? The way Dexter would use plastic and all that nonsense and stab people and get away with it because he ain't leave no traces. Well, that's how Gus was. He ain't use plastic or nothing like that because he wasn't stabbing people, but he made sure that there were no traces of any human remains on his counters. He scrubbed them every night with bleach. He made sure that anything that was there was going to be gone by morning. Industrial grade cleaners. So they do their investigation, and they're like, all right, we didn't find anything here, so get us that paperwork, and, we'll wrap this up. And you're like, all right. And he's like, listen, the detective, he said, listen, I'm telling you, if you're doing good, buddy, I would advise you to get that paperwork to me as soon as possible because we're not playing no games. We on your ass and we know something ain't right about this shop. And as soon as we can prove it, you will pay. So now Gus is looking at him. He looking at this detective, y'all. Like, I know he didn't just threaten me. I know he didn't just threaten me. Do he know who I am? Oh, nah. And, well, see, this is the thing, y'all. And I know I keep getting away from the story, but this is real quick. These police, these detectives, these cops, they don't realize that, listen up, bro. You just a regular person. You have a regular life. You can be found just like anybody else. And well, Gus is pretty good at hunting. That's what he does. So when he decides he wants to hunt a cop or a detective or any kind of investigator that's threatening his way of living, guess what, y'all? Now you priority number one. You could end up being the 80, 85, 90, or the 93% chop if you mess around. So, Gus get in his car and he said, you know what? I'm just going to follow dude. He wait for them to pull off. And he pull out. And he about good, like, say, 150, 150 yards away. But he can still see him. He making sure he following him. He makes sure he following every turn. And now he knows where this officer lives. Now, Gus is going to make an example. You don't threaten my sanity. You don't threaten what makes me tick. This is my livelihood. If I want to unalive people, grind them up, and put them in the hamburger meat, that's just what I'm going to do. And you ain't going to stop that. So, Gus would go ahead, go back home. He got the address now. He know exactly what he got to do. He plan on stalking this dude. And he's going to leave cryptic messages day after day, letting him know that he know where he at. One day, the officer come home, long shift, 12-hour shift, go right to his mailbox, put his key in. As soon as he put a key in, out pops a message on a spring. Like, like as if the door to the mailbox was holding the message in on a spring kind of shit. And it popped out in his face. That type of message. And it said, I know who you are. I know where you sleep. Don't mess with me, because I know where you eat. On some riddle type shit. And dude, the cop, he looking at it like, what the hell? What? How somebody even put this? Who did this? The mailman? Who had the key to get in here? How they put this in here? That's another mystery, y'all. Well, he would keep getting little messages like that slid under his door. It'd be stuff on his car window shield when he came down in the morning. Somebody was actively stalking him. And well, toward the end of the week, he just brushed it off. And he ain't think nothing of it. He just said, somebody just messing around, neighborhood or whatever. Gus, before this detective got home, had already broke into his house. And Gus was hiding. He was waiting for this detective to walk in. And as soon as he walked into his front door, he sprayed him with a good healthy dose of that spray in his face. Ta-ta! Knocked him on out cold. Now normally, Gus would drag him on down, put him in his trunk, and go butcher him. But Gus said, oh no, I got to send a message to all your other cop friends. Don't come looking for me. Gus spent the next 2 hours butchering that detective in his own house. When Gus was done, he had arranged on the floor as soon as you open the door and walk into this man's apartment. Different cuts of meat resembling beef. You had your filet. You had a strip. You had a rib. It was diabolical, y'all. And the precision that was taken to cut these parts. And then, when I say this is, I hope YouTube don't flag this. I hope I don't have any problems with this. But all the extra parts got grinded up. And when I say grinded up, remember, Gus wasn't at his shop. He had to use whatever was available. He blended this man down in a ninja. Yeah, a ninja, y'all. The same joint that y'all use to make smoothies with. He took his time to grind this man up in a ninja. Yep. And that's just crazy. So, the message was left. The whole force came in when the detective was unresponsive and didn't show up for duty. And they did a wellness check. And they came to that apartment and saw him filleted on the ground in different cuts of meat. The only thing that was left of him was his head. And they still had no clue or no evidence that Gus did it. So, sometimes you might want to think about who you're being nasty with. When you go to the meat counter and you need something cut up, you might want to be a little nicer. Because you never know if the next Gus is watching you. You never know if the next Gus got a problem with you. So please, people, I'm begging you, stay alive. Don't mess with these people that you don't know whether they're working with a full deck or not. Gus needed to be institutionalized. But Gus lived out the remainder of his days butchering people. And well, that's the world we live in, y'all. Either you prove it or you shut up. If you like that story, like, share, subscribe. Get in the comment box. Let me know what you think. Definitely hit that subscribe button, y'all. And with that, I'm going to get on up out of here. Peace out.